Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lee Marie and I teach you how to. Today's video I wanted to share with you because if you haven't already heard, I am a Women of Color 2023 grant recipient, and the organization is called the Tory Burch Foundation and the Fearless Fund. So this is a grant that I applied to way back when, I think it was like March or April. And then we just got the results at the beginning of August that we were a finalist and then that we had actually received the grant. So what I want to share with you in today's video is how to find grants, what applying for them is like, and then some tips and tricks just so you have the best experience possible with your grant. So the first question is, what is a grant? Well, a grant is generally a monetary gift. It is a gift. It is not something you have to pay back. It's not a loan or anything like that, which is what makes it awesome. You don't have to worry about paying it back. Now, that doesn't mean that there's organizations out there just giving money away for no reason. There's always requirements and things that you have to do in order to earn the grant. But that's the great thing about a grant. You don't have to pay it back, and you basically use it to enrich your business in some way. A lot of people like to use it to buy new inventory. Some people like to use it to come up with a new product or to scale their business. There's lots of different ways you can use your grant, but there are some limitations. So I'm going to go through that with you. So the first thing you need to understand when you're looking for grants is to find the appropriate grants. All grants out there have specific requirements, and you have to really read through the requirements, because if you don't meet them and you're applying to a bunch of grants, it's not going to look good because you're going to get rejected from all of them if you're not reading the requirements. For example, there's one that I applied to not that long ago that the requirement is that I had to be a woman, which I am, Latina, which I am, have revenue of at least $50,000 a year, which I do, and be registered as a business for at least one full calendar year, which I have. So that one, if you meet those requirements, then you can apply for that grant, and that grant happened to be for $5,000. Grants vary in size. There are micro grants, which are $500 or $1,000. Then there's the more typical $5,000, $10,000, and even $20,000 grants. And then anything above that, you're gonna have to do a lot more work for. The process is usually online. Then they schedule interviews via Zoom or in person if it's a local grant. And then they make a decision and they announce it. Like I said, most grants will have conditions. So for example, there is a grant that the Tory Burch Foundation does that is their Fellows Program. And that is an educational grant, meaning the funds that they give you can only be used for certain educational expenses. So like I said, grants will have requirements of who can apply. So you need to make sure that you meet those requirements, and then they may have conditions or stipulations of how you can spend the money. So once you find a grant that you have met all the requirements for, and you know what the conditions are for the use of the grant money, then there's the application process. So the first step to the application process many times is going to be to fill out a pretty thorough application. They're going to want to know a lot about you, a lot about your business, why you started your business, how long you've been in business. Many will ask you about your financials, so be ready to have your financials available and know your financials off the top of your head. They'll ask you, do you have, what were your last year's sales? Do you anticipate this year's sales? Things like that. The other thing that they're always going to ask for, because this has been my experience with every grant that I've applied for, is they're going to need a professional headshot. If you don't have professional headshots, get professional headshots. The reason they do that is because a lot of the times they will publicize the grant winners, and they do so with professional headshots. They'll put them on their website and on their social media. That's the other great thing about grants, is a lot of time you get free publicity. The organizations that put the grants together always will have some sort of announcement that they do online. And then they'll have it on their website, perhaps. They'll have it on their social media. They'll have it everywhere. And you'll need a professional headshot for every time that they talk about the grant or announce the winners of the grant. So professional headshots, super important. Nobody has asked for a resume. So don't feel like you have to do a resume. What they want more is your business in your own words. And what's really important here is to be authentic, to be yourself, and to not lie. That's a huge one. Because again, once you get past the application point, they're going to interview you. And after that, they may ask for paperwork that proves anything you state. So make sure that you are being truthful on the applications and it's everything that you can back up. But be yourself. That's who they want to see. Don't be nervous on the interviews. They basically just want to get a general idea of who you are as a person and how you run your business, the passion that you have with your business. And that's going to help them determine who they deem worthy of the grants that they have to award. So like I said, once you find a grant that you qualify for and you are okay with the conditions of how to use the grant money, you've already gone through the application process and you get that fantastic email that says you've been selected as a finalist, then you know that they're going to do an interview. And generally the interviews are over Zoom because they're going to want to take a look at you. They're going to want to interact with you. Sometimes they are going to want a pitch. So if you've ever heard the term kind of elevator pitch, or if you're working on your pitch deck, it's very similar. You want 2 to 3 minutes about you, how you started your business, how your business is doing, and where you're taking it in the future. That's what they want to know. What is the value that you add to the market? What is the innovative or, new trend product that you're bringing to market? That'll help them to have interest in your business. And if they're interested in your business, they're going to want to help you further your business. So be sure that you're working on a 2 to 3 minute pitch. That's the best thing to do when you kind of introduce yourself to the people that are interviewing you for a grant. So where do you find grants? Well, the good news is that if you are a woman or if you are a minority, there's actually quite a few grants that are available specifically to those targeted minorities. It's very simple. If you even just Google, grants for women-owned businesses or grants for minority-owned businesses, you can find a lot of different grants. One really great website is called Hello Alice. So it's helloalice.com. You can register for an account, and what they do is they have specific grants that they work with, and they will email you letting you know when it's time to apply for those specific grants. So that's a great website to try. They've got a few different grants on there, and like I said, they email you letting you know when you can start applying for the grants, and it's a pretty seamless process. So I highly suggest the website helloalice.com. The second website, if you want to look for grants, is LinkedIn. A lot of these nonprofit organizations will list all the grants and all the work that they're doing when the application deadlines are. That's also where they would say, here are the winners of this year's. If you want to apply for next year's, here's the deadline, here's where you apply. So having an account on LinkedIn is huge. Not only are there business investors and venture capitalists on LinkedIn, lots of them, but there's also, like I said, these organizations, these nonprofits that give away grants. They're all on there and they're all very active. I've noticed that in the last 6 months where I've been more active on my LinkedIn, and now I see them everywhere. All sorts of nonprofits posting about upcoming grants and upcoming accelerator programs and, entrepreneurship programs. That's the great thing about these grants is nowadays it's not even just money. They're giving you education as well, which is awesome. A lot of these grants, they enroll you in some sort of program where you get to learn about being a business owner, how to, scale your business, cash flow. They help you with your pitch, how to ask for money, all those types of things. They'll help you with that and give you money, which is awesome. So be sure to hop on LinkedIn, create an account if you haven't already done one, search like grants or nonprofits. Start following businesses and organizations that are business grant kind of organizations. A few that are really great, especially for the ladies: Fearless Fund, Tory Burch Foundation. Those are really awesome. There are a couple of them that are bigger companies. So like JP Morgan Chase does a grant program. FedEx does a grant program. So a lot of these big companies will also have grant programs that are targeted towards women and minorities. So be on the lookout for those. Do lots of Google searches. Be sure to write down on your calendar when all the applications start. Get your application done. Remember, be honest, be yourself. Make sure that you fulfill the requirements of what they're looking for an eligible grant winner. And then also make sure that you look at how you're able to use the funds. The last thing you want to do is apply for a grant where you really need $5,000 for product development to find out that the grant has to be used on education and you can't use it on what you wanted to use it for. So be sure you're reading the fine print. Be sure you're sticking to your deadlines. Be yourself when you're doing your interviews. Work on your pitch and on a 2 to 3 minute kind of introduction to yourself and your business. And I wish you all the best of luck. There's no limit to the amount of grants that you can apply for. It's great practice also to be perfecting your pitch and talking about your business actively. And when you are a grant winner, I will tell you, big doors open like they have for me. It looks fantastic on your LinkedIn, on your socials, on your website. So it can be incredibly fulfilling, useful, and wonderful for your business. I wish you all the best of luck, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.